Hi, it's Ed Kaminsky with Strand Hill Properties, Christie's International, checking in here in Manhattan Beach, California, with local renowned architect Luc Berne. First of all, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, what firm you're with, and we'll start with that.
Okay, so my name is Luc Berne, and I started a company, architecture firm, about 2.5 years ago at this point, called Atelier Berne, and we specialize in luxury custom residential.
So I know you transitioned from commercial real estate. So when I walked into this space, which is across from our hall, I saw this empty space and thinking of using it, and I thought, who better to talk to than who's transitioned from commercial to residential. Why the transition from commercial to residential for you, first of all?
I love the commercial world. I think it was a great way for me to start in the architecture business and to be mentored by a commercial architect.
Right.
A lot of creativity happens in the commercial world. First I wanted to work for myself, and I wanted to come back to the South Bay, and I wanted to deal with a little bit more intimate psychology of the individual who wants to build his or her dream home over the kind of committee-based design of the commercial world.
Now I know I watched you transform this old beat-up beach home on 31st Street into this beautiful, structure. And, my question came, knowing you moved from commercial to residential, it seemed like you brought some of those elements to the residential space. Tell me about that.
Well, there's a couple pieces. So there's the kind of physicality of the architecture. I do like the scale and the guts of commercial architecture, and kind of the kind of heavier uses of concrete, more industrial look is
right.
Kind of more acceptable in commercial, and I think that it's a great look for residential as well. So there's kind of the physical nature of architecture, and then there's the psychological nature of architecture, which is that really the two are very similar, commercial and residential. They're both families, right? It's a family of employees and employers that need their space and need their unity. And the same thing in a residence. It's a family that needs its private space, and it needs to come together. And this kind of expansion-contraction feeling is very similar, but on a more intimate level that I was looking for in my transition.
So I noticed, whether it's traveling the world or even just around here, architecture seems to change from year to year, at least decade to decade. What changes are you seeing in architecture today? Yeah,
definitely. I've been in architecture professionally for maybe almost 20 years, and commercially, there's been huge changes in architecture, especially in the way, I don't know if it's the chicken or the egg kind of thing, but the business models have changed, and the workplace flow has changed, and the priorities for workplace health and happiness have increased a lot. And so people value natural light,
right.
A lot of windows. They value skylights that diminish the use of artificial lighting. They value open spaces that are around the offices, that they can go outdoors and relax. And
I've noticed that. I know normally I would talk to you about residential, but just looking around this building, they've been transforming this building, and I've noticed in all the new office spaces, very few walls. It's all open space now. Is that an architectural change that's happened while you've been watching?
Definitely, definitely. It's the distancing from the individual office, and the individual office does still exist, of course, and it depends very much on the business model of the actual business, but many business models are orienting themselves towards a kind of home lounge feel, which is where the home and the business are no longer very different. You need a place, and of course we're now wireless, right? Which is a huge advantage. So we can go sit in our beanbag and work on our laptop, and you could be at home or you could be at the office. It's the same feeling.
Yeah.
And the happiness and the amount of work that you're getting done skyrockets, and people have seen that.
So moving to the beach, and when I think about the beach, what I'm referring to is tight, right? Small lots, they're 30 feet wide, they're 80 feet deep, or whatever it might be, or even smaller. How do you build on something so small today and add these elements of wide open spaces?
Right. You know, there's a couple, I guess I'm not going to call them tricks, but design elements that need to come in. And so, as you know, many of the floor plans in the beach cities are inverted, as in the public space is at the top level.
Right.
And your lightest structure is the roof in a home, right? If you put the living room down low, then you have the bedroom ceiling, or the ceiling with the bedrooms above, and you're very limited. Whereas if you put the living space above, you can do whatever you want with the roof. You can put skylights in it, you can open it up to terraces, and it makes the communal living space a much more breathable structure. And then of course you take advantage of the views.
Right.
Have views that way.
You mentioned terraces. I've noticed that outdoor space is becoming larger in residences now. Are you doing the same thing and integrating larger outdoor spaces compared to what you might see in the 70s with a 3-foot balcony?
Well, definitely, and what makes it doable now is that everyone has kind of accepted this outdoor living, but then with amenities, with comfort, right? So it's the integrated barbecue, the heated, kind of a half-covered indoor-outdoor feeling,
right,
with an integrated IR heaters or something like that keeps the exterior space comfortable at all times, whether it's cold outside or not.
Right.
And makes it usable for every season and day and night.
If you're going to give somebody advice, assuming they're sitting down to either redesign their home, build from scratch, what would you tell somebody? I mean, what should they be thinking or doing before they even start?
They should call me first, or call an architect first. I mean, it's absolutely necessary. You being in the real estate world, you know that clients are, come to you and they have an idea of what they want, but they need guidance in what kind of, just where they're going to be, what kind of site they need, and what adjacencies they want,
right,
and what elements of the site are going to bring the kind of lifestyle they want. So starting from zero, from their first thought.
So talking to an architect is always a good idea up front.
Absolutely.
Before they start writing checks.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
Well, great. Well, I appreciate you coming out today, Luc. We really appreciate your time. If someone did want to reach you, what's the best way to do that?
310-344-1576.
Great.
Perfect. And my website is atelierberne.com.
Great. Well, thanks for coming out. It's great seeing you.
Thank you.
This is Ed Kaminsky checking out in Manhattan Beach, California. Thanks for watching.